All right, what's going on, everybody? Derek Ofer here from Black Men United and from BlackAbundance.com. I got a good brother here, Tony Ansah here. How you doing, Tony?
I'm blessed. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And for y'all that don't know this amazing brother, he has an amazing platform. It's called Ansah, AfricaDonate.com. We're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on a lot of the amazing work that this amazing entrepreneur right here is doing. So, Tony, let's start with you. Let's tell us about how you got started in entrepreneurship, brother.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. And I'm very honored to be on this platform. And as far as entrepreneurship is concerned, it's been a very long journey. To be honest with you, it initially started when I was as young as 8 years old. And so back in the day when I was young, my parents had a small convenience store. And so they were selling African clothes, African food, and other items and materials. And so at that point in time, I thought it would be a good idea to sell candy to the local children, the local youth in that area. And so it happened that there was a junior high school close to the store. And so I kind of took advantage of the area and the population to, sell candies. And I did that for a few years. And then, around the same time as well, a few years later, I did recycle cans. And so my parents had like a cleaning service company where they cleaned offices. And so I would join them during the late hours to find cans, recycle cans, things of that nature, and collect. And so I was able to cash in and make some decent money out of it those days. And then um, around the time I would say probably 10 years of age, I started playing basketball a lot. Big fan of Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, and what have you.
Okay,
So,
okay.
besides playing, I used to, buy basketball cards. So I would buy and then sell. So if I could, if I found, something that was a hot item, I would, search around for enthusiasts to sell it to. So I did that for a while and made a decent margin or profit. And then besides that, there was a time when I got older, towards undergrad years. I did a study abroad program. And so through the study abroad program, I brought with me customized belts. And so the location of the university was in Ghana, which is where my ancestry is from, which is where my parents were born and raised. And so during that time period for the study abroad program, I was basically, hustling belts out there in Ghana for a couple of years. I was originally supposed to be out there for a year, but I decided to extend it another year, so I wound up being there for 2 years. So that was kind of what I was doing to kind of put some extra money in my pocket or additional income, if you will. And so those are, the different odd things I did. I mean, even besides that, when I was a few years prior to that, I used to work in a factory during the summertime just to put some extra bread in my pockets to, buy clothes and sneakers for the next school year. So I've always kind of had this more or less entrepreneurship mentality, always hustling and bustling to, get some additional revenue for myself, starting at the age of 8. So, from a very young age. Fast forward to adult years, 2017, I decided to set up a online African business community. And that idea was born out of some work that I was doing for a nonprofit that I was an active member of. I'm still an active member of it today. It's called African Coalition, based out in Massachusetts. And so I had did some outreach back in 2017 for a few months on behalf of the organization. So my assignment was to search and find different African organizations in Massachusetts as well as Rhode Island. So between both states, I actually reside in Rhode Island.
Okay.
And so part of the assignment was to not only do the outreach, but also interview their leadership to kind of get an idea of their experience and what they went through in order to attain the level of success that they had at that point in time, and to just kind of learn from them, because being in a nonprofit was fairly new to me as well as the other members of the organization. So we were just trying to come to an understanding of what, building a nonprofit or organization was all about. And so that served as a reference point for us. And so through that work of doing outreach, I then realized that when it comes to like whether it's African businesses or African organizations, at times if you're not familiar, you'll struggle to find them unless you go on the internet. And even through the internet or through a Google search, for example, you may not find all of them. And so why not build a central location where whether it's an African immigrant that's looking for their culture, their tradition to interact with, network with, and what have you, they could find it online, all in one place. So kind of like a one-stop shop.
That's beautiful right there.
Setup. And so that's kind of where the idea originated from, to build this online African business community, which kind of comprised of African business owners, whether in the U.S. or in the continent of Africa, professionals, entrepreneurs, organizations, and what have you, all were added onto the platform. And so I was able to build it to roughly about 200 within a few months. But I would say like early this year, I kind of had to put that on hold, on the back burner for a little bit, because through building this community, I realized that there was a need when it came to the nonprofits, especially those that were in Africa, where they were looking for support, not just on a local level on the ground or grassroots level, but also at a global level, outside of the continent. And so towards the end of last year, so between the months of November and December, I did a fundraiser campaign on behalf of some of the organizations that were part of this online community. So it was a group of 10 of them. And in the early stages, I took the initiative to sponsor a few of them. So through the sponsorship, I collaborated with a web designer in Ghana to donate some websites to about 3 different nonprofits that were based in Africa. So through the collaboration, I was like, okay, if I'm able to donate, websites and, give these people access to online worldwide type of platform where they could reach more people and gain more visibility for their programs and services, this would be great to kind of do an experiment to see if we did a fundraiser and we're able to get U.S. donors to support and contribute to these people's causes back in Africa, it would be a great thing. And also just, as a convenience, because when it comes to like online donations, either it's the nonprofit doing it themselves independently, or they may seek outside parties to do crowdfunding, for example. But a lot of these crowdfundings are not exclusive to Africa. So that's kind of where the idea was born to, branch out from the African business community and just focus on nonprofits in Africa, by connecting them with U.S. donors that are interested in supporting their causes. And so I did find, quite a few individuals that were interested in like what I like to call universal or international causes. So regardless of location, you want to, offer, whether it's financial support or material support to those that are disadvantaged, for example, that need an extra boost of support so that they themselves could, eventually become self-sufficient, self-reliant, and fend for themselves. So not necessarily looking for a handout, but just looking for support where at some point in time they could be independent on their own, supporting themselves. So that's kind of where all of that came from. So that's my journey thus far. I mean, besides that, I've been writing books for some time. So I'm gonna pull back to, I would say like 2015 is when I decided to go down the path of self-publishing. And so I did some research prior to kind of diving in that direction because I wasn't familiar with the territory. But through the online university of Google and YouTube,
Right.
you're able to kind of get the information, the resources you need to kind of kickstart your idea. And so in my case was self-publishing. So once I was able to figure out the steps I needed and the platforms that will allow for that to be possible, I was able to start self-publishing. So I had a bunch of poetry just basically collecting dust for the longest of time, longest of years. And I decided to put together a compilation of those
Nice.
poems into a book. And so I had a big catalog of poems, and I decided to divide it into a series of 5. And so the title for the entire series is called Quiet Wisdom.
Okay.
The quiet, I have like an innovative spelling for it, more or less. So KWIYET, and then the wisdom is WIZDOM.
Okay, where can they find that at?
So all of them could be found on Amazon.
Okay.
Each of those can be found there, the series. And so I, besides the poetry, I also do what I call like proverbs or quotes, inspirational, motivational pieces. So I was able to compile a bunch of those and create a quote book that I put out there as well. So that one is Third Eye Quotes. You
Okay.
can find that also on Amazon. And then at some point in time, as I started my journey 2017 as an entrepreneur, I decided to kind of document my journey as as significant events would take place. I would just jot it down, take note of it, and those kind of turn into a book. So that book is called The Diary of a Ghanaian Diaspora Entrepreneur. And it's a 2-part right now. So the second part is 2.0 extended version.
Okay.
Both of those are also out on Amazon as well.
All right.
So yeah, I wear a lot of hats. I do multiple things, but a lot of it comes through pure passion. A lot of it comes to just hobbies that I've been doing. And then to be honest with you, at this point in time, just trying to really package it up and rebrand it in such a way where it's more polished up, it's more professional,
Gotcha.
and I can, have different streams of revenue, whether it's passive or active. Um, and that's kind of the direction I'm headed right now. So, the donation platform, has allowed me different opportunities, different doors have opened for me to kind of expose people to my story, my journey. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm still growing and learning as I go. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And everybody, this is my man Tony Ansah, and he's from AnsahAfricaDonate.com, and I'm Derek Alford from Black Men United. So y'all can always go and log in at blackmenunited.net. Again, it's blackmenunited, not blackmenunited.net. You this interview and also see other content that's available to you, Black men. Now, Tony, man, you being real humble, man, but you ain't even talking about how you built websites from scratch, how you do digital marketing. Man, I'm putting you on blast, man, because the audience want to know about this, man. So let them know, man. Tell me about that. How did you build a website from scratch? Because I was trying to do that, and I had to hire somebody. So how do you do that? How do you do all
I'm
this?
telling you, man, when it comes to acquiring this information, I just go to the internet, the University of Google, the University of YouTube to kind of figure things out. Whatever I don't know, I just, rely on the internet as a reference point to, find my way to be able to build. So as far as like website from scratch, that came about through the poetry I was doing. So like I was saying earlier, it's been a hobby for the longest, but now I'm kind of getting ready to make the transition for it to be more professional. And I can also be able to monetize off of it as well. But yeah, so I would say back to 2015, I was like, okay, if I'm gonna self-publish books, then why not I build a website in addition to that? And so that's where the website came into play. I looked at what was out in the market, and I saw that the best option was WordPress.
Okay.
So I set up an account through them, and then little by little, I produced and published content through their platform. And so it was a learning experience in the beginning, but once I was able to figure out how to navigate the back end in order to add content to the site, little by little, I was able to add, and before I realized it, I had a website. And so that was back, I would say, 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, so 2015. And then through my organization, African Coalition, I helped to design that website as well. And so, I took what I learned from my own website in order to be of service to the nonprofit. And so I was able to build that. And then, with the online African business community, same thing happened with that. Was able to build website from scratch for that initiative. And then for the current initiative, which is the Ansah Africa Donate, same thing with that. I was able to build a website there. And, like I said, it's an ongoing learning experience and journey. Every day I learn something new, and I'm able to add on to what I've already learned. And so that's kind of where the website from scratch came about. And, I've assisted others. Even the websites I said I donated. I collaborated with another website designer to make that possible. So if it's not me, then it's through collaboration. I'm a big proponent and fan of collaboration as well. And so, yeah, that's kind of where that comes from as well.
Yeah, I like that, man. Teamwork definitely makes the dream work. Oh, and I want to say I really like your website, your platform. I really commend you, brother, on what you're doing. You're doing a lot of great stuff, and I like that you are putting that basically that insight on business in Africa, because I feel like a lot of Black people in the United States, we lose sight that there's a lot of stuff going on outside of the United States. And I like that you're bringing light to that. You're allowing people to donate and help our people in other countries, and I feel like once we continue to have connections with people from other countries, I think it'll help engage us more, and also I think it'll help with a lot of issues we're having here, because I feel like, and not to get too political on you guys in our audience, but I feel like a lot of issues we have now because we're not really connected with our motherland in Africa. We don't have any backing from our homeland, so a lot of issues that we experience is due to the disconnect from Africa. And that's just my opinion, but that's what I feel. But I like that you were bringing that connection together. You're allowing us to know that there's businesses in Africa. There's ways to donate to Africa. They have nonprofits. They have a lot of stuff that I really didn't even think about. I didn't even think about it till getting in contact with you. So I really like that. Your platform, I'm definitely going to support it. Please let the audience know how they can support it again. So, give out your website. You might even spell it out just so they don't put the wrong domain in wrong. And I'll also put in the description below. But you want to let them know.
All right, cool. Yeah, so the website is www.ansahafricadonate.com. So the spelling is ANSAH Africa AFRCA donate DONATE.com. So Ansah Africa Donate. So I started off with my last name and then africadonate.com. So that's the domain of the website address. And I mean, when you get there on the homepage, it gives you a description of the mission behind what we're doing. And, it's about social impact. It's about financial independence for the donor as well as the end receiver, which is the nonprofits that are on platform. But even beyond the nonprofits, is about the people that they serve. It's about the public, the people that are disadvantaged or disenfranchised, that need the assistance and support to kind of get them on their feet and progress in life. And so that's kind of my overall mission in whatever I do. And so I bring that to the table. Also, you'll find that for first-time donors, you can win an opportunity to receive a free ebook on the platform or audiobook. So we have a few contributing authors, I being one of them, and then there's two others that you'll find as well. And so, I encourage people to visit and take advantage of the opportunity to, make some, impact and a contribution to our brothers and sisters in the African continent. Because another thing I wanted to just add to even what you were saying earlier is it's really also been about, making connection with the African diaspora as well as the African native, bringing those two worlds together to form a marriage, build a relationship, and a lot of that can allow for some collaboration, joint ventures, so on and so forth, to take place where it's beneficial for everybody that's involved. It's a win-win situation, and
That's beautiful.
I think we just got to connect with our people, because even as I speak to you right now, a lot of investment is taking place in the continent. It's kind of like a part two mad scramble, and it could be considered a new form of colonialism, but it's less in your face, it's less direct. It's kind of, covert, if you will. And I think, people of African descent can, really make a contribution if only we're aware of the potential that, the continent does have. Whether you're on the ground or you're, outside, where you could be of support to what's going on, and also get a return on your investment or a return on your donation, whatever the case may be. So
Yeah, that's
that's
beautiful,
my
man.
2 cents. Yeah.
And also, please tell the audience how they could get in contact with you too. I know you do it on your website, but do you have an email you want to lead them with? Somebody may want to email you. You might want to. There may be some further, joint ventures in the motion for you. So they might want to get in contact with you. So let them know, how can they contact you, via email, or do you want their phone number, or is it all on the AnsahAfricaDonate.com? How can they get in contact with you, Tony?
Yeah, all my information is there at AnsahAfricaDonate.com. So my email, my contact, everything is over there for people. So you can reach out to me, whether it's via email, via phone call, social media. You can find me on different platforms. My tagline is TKANSAHJR. So you can find me Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, through that same tag throughout. It's the same tag, yeah.
All right, great stuff. Well, all right, everybody. This was a Black Men United interview with my man Tony Ansah from AnsahAfricaDonate.com. Their girlfriend from Black Men United. Hope you enjoyed the interview. I will put your information in below, Tony, for people to contact you. And I enjoy interviewing you, man. I commend you for what you're doing, brother. You're doing great things. I can only imagine what you'll do in the future. And I look forward to talking to you soon. So this is it, y'all. Everybody, peace.
Peace. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
No doubt. All right, brother.